A very good day, YouTubers, and you join Aslan and I not on the Oxford Canal or the Thames or even the Kennet and Avon, but on the Coventry Canal. The reason I didn't stay on the Oxford and winter there was, as I explained at the end of season 10, there are no moorings. Also, I'd been told by quite a few independent sources that not so much the Thames, but the Kennet and Avon was essentially 100 miles of the last 10 miles of the Oxford. And I thought, do I really want to spend like most of this year going along the Kennet and Avon, getting to the end, and then having to turn round, come all the way back up the Thames and up the Oxford? There's another reason I didn't stay on the Oxford, but I'll talk about that later in this video. Today I'm heading towards Atherstone, the bottom locks there, because there's a service point nearby, and I need to empty the loo and give the starboard side, that's the right, a wash, because it's time to touch up all those rusty bits on the gunnels and so on, as well as quite a few scrapes that I acquired along the way through all those various locks on the Oxford. Some of them had sticky out metal bits and yeah, quite deep scrapes in places. So there's going to be some rust treatment going on and then some repainting. I've also been asked if I've done the winter engine rebuild, but as I mentioned in season 10, that's scheduled not for the winter just gone, but the winter later this year. And that's also dependent, as I mentioned, on whether an overhaul of the injectors and the fuel injector pumps doesn't actually fix the problem. Saying that, I believe a large part of the smoking problem during season 10 was caused by a very dodgy batch, possibly water contaminated batch of diesel when I filled up with diesel, because it wasn't smoking badly to start with, but after a few episodes around about the Braunston area it started to smoke quite a bit. So I think there may have been contaminated fuel. I don't know if it was water or, I don't know, old diesel, I don't know. But since then, and since I filled up again, it's cleared up a lot. But I'm fairly confident, 80% sure, that an injector and diesel pump overhaul will fix the problem. So fingers crossed, an engine rebuild won't be necessary. not very far to go, and the sun is actually making an appearance as forecast. So they got it right for once. We're here, and the plan, as I say, is to empty the toilet and wash the side of Aslan. And then I'm going to have to reverse out of the service point, back under the bridge to the winding point here, turn round and then moor up. Looks like there's no boats in the service point, so I can go straight in there. Well, it doesn't take much, just a little scrub, and yeah, looking in the screen there, she's looking reet nice. Right, now I need to reverse out to the winding hole, turn round, moor up, and then tomorrow I'll paint that side, and then when that's done I'll reverse up, turn around the winding hole, and then paint the other side, which is a lot cleaner because I only did it a few days ago. Anybody, by the way, who's watching that wants to say that I shouldn't be washing my boat in a boat service point, if you're not happy about it, sue me. Now I'm going to attempt to reverse through that bridge to the winding hole, which is just after, and this will take all of my skill and attention. Fortunately, there's no boats around. It's actually easier to get off and pull it through. I have an audience. In fact, I'm going to reverse the 50 yards or so down to the mooring, which means that while I'm in the mood for reversing, I can get it out the way and won't have to do it again. That took a bit of doing, but I found the spot. The actual edge of the mooring is low enough that I can get to the gunnels. I just need to tear some grass up. That'll do for today though, and in the morning I'll get touching up the paint, scraping, rust treating, wire brushing, and then when this side's done I'll turn round in the window and do the other side, and then that should be it for another year. Good morning, and I'm ready now to begin scraping, wire brushing and so on. Nothing fancy. You have to remember that Aslan is a working boat. She works for her living. She wants for nothing, and I just stay on top of everything. So I'm not going for any kind of show finish. Aslan isn't the sort of boat that you keep in a marina and visit on the occasional weekend and spend that time washing and polishing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just nice and simple. Get rid of the rust, treat it, and 2 coats of Hammerite smooth green. It always works for me. Also along the top of the gunnels where water gathers, there's also those little areas. So it's just a scrape, a wire brush, and then a brush off. And once I've done all these, I'll come along and do the rust treatment. quick check of the sides. They're all okay up to probably about halfway, and then due to the locks, you know, the latter stages of the Oxford had all like bent armco and little bits of metal sticking out as you go into a lock, and they were all having a nice little gouge. Yeah. I didn't fancy that all the way down the Kennet and Avon, I can tell you that much. Incidentally, of late, whenever my hands are in view, especially during cooking videos, I get a lot of comments from, you know, people concerned, asking what's that on your hands. If they were birthmarks, I don't think I'd be getting the same sort of constant questioning. But of more concern are people who have diagnosed it on site as ringworm and plastering that all over the place. Oh, Kevin's got ringworm. See here, it's highly contagious, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about them before, and I don't want to end up having to put a disclaimer at the start of every cooking video saying that's not ringworm, which is not. I mean, ringworm is not a worm for starters, it's a fungal infection, but this is not a fungal infection. It's called a granuloma annulari, if I get that correct. The medical profession, dermatologists and so on, they have no idea what causes it. They have no idea how to treat it, and there's no way of getting rid of it. They know nothing about it. But it's not contagious, it's not painful, it's not itchy. Okay, so it's not contagious, all right? Ringworm is highly contagious. Okay, I've had people saying, you have ringworm, you need to go and see a doctor. I know it will be itchy, and you know, and it's contagious. Everyone you come into contact with, you'll give them it, and so on and so forth. No, it is not ringworm. It's not ringworm. Okay? It's worth pointing out that these are not areas which I've stripped and treated before. These are all new bits bubbling up. It doesn't take a lot, just a little, you know, break through the paint, you know, and water gets in. But everywhere I've rust treated before is sound. Okay, that's all the loose paint scraped off and the rust wire brushed and so on. Now to do the rust treating, and for that I use this Hammerite Cure Rust. It's a water-based, funnily enough, rust treatment, and you decant the amount you want into a vessel. The important thing is to remember not to put it back in the container, otherwise you'll destroy the whole rust treatment. But yeah, and it goes quite a way. It's quite thin and it dries quickly. So I think that'll do me for now. Right, and we'll get splodging this on. Important to put it on quite thinly because it will run, and then it blackens, you know, any paintwork, you know, sound paintwork, existing paintwork. But that's all it takes. Okay, I shall go along here and rust treat the rest. It's quite a pleasant job, really. It just seems daunting at first, and I'm sort of thinking, oh no, I've got to do all that. But once you get into it, it's an enjoyable job, and you see some good for it. Okay, quick cup of tea while that stuff dries. Doesn't take very long, and then I'll start putting the paint on. I'm going to put on 2 coats of the Hammerite Smooth Green. I'm into my nettle tea at the moment. I'm trying to drink less caffeine. I've given up caffeinated coffee. I've given up ordinary tea completely, and I'm sleeping a whole lot better. Oh yeah, I had some terrible withdrawal symptoms for probably about 4 or 5 days. Really painful aches in my legs during the day and especially at night. But that's all gone now. So yeah, nettle tea. It's really refreshing, and it's full of antioxidants like ordinary tea, but no caffeine. And I have a decaffeinated coffee, but one that's decaffeinated by what's known as a Swiss water treatment. Normal decaffeinated coffees are decaffeinated with solvent, which, to put it another way, is paint thinner. Yeah, Swiss water treatment decaf, and it tastes just like coffee but without the caffeine. Well, the rust treatment's almost dry, well, I'll just give it a little bit longer. I mentioned on the way here that there was another reason why I came off the Oxford, and why I won't be travelling the Thames or the Kennet and Avon. And that was, besides the mooring situation and so on, that was because, as I mentioned in my previous video, the creamy paprika chicken, that I'll be doing this year some motorcycle road trips. Probably just the one, because it'll be quite a big, major thing. For me at least. I'll be doing as I said, the Scottish islands, Mull, Skye, Harris, possibly Wig, which is UIG, Wig, and then Orkney and Shetland. Camping, nice roads, glorious scenery, villages. There's a place in Stromness, I've been told, a butcher's, which does like world famous black pudding, so that's definitely on the cards. So a bit of camp cooking, all that kind of thing. What's come to my attention is, and there's no easy way to put it, is that only 25% of my subscribers watch my cooking videos, and it means you're missing quite a bit, because the cooking videos, I don't just do the cooking. I often, regularly talk about things that are coming up, things I'm going to be doing, things I've done, things that have happened, and just generally a little chat. So, I'll be cooking and I'll be talking about other stuff. So if you don't watch the cooking videos, you're missing quite a bit. So I imagine that I'm doing this, and now I talk about doing a motorcycle road trip, and I won't be doing the Oxford and the Kennet and Avons, come as a bit of a surprise. But yeah, That's 75% of my viewers don't know that I'm going to be doing a motorcycle road trip, but you do now. So there you go. Okay, let's get painting this. Goes on very nicely. Like I say, 2 coats, and each coat, it dries very quick. So basically by the time I've done the first coat on this side, I can get back to the beginning and do it again. Always a pleasant job painting, I find. I'm really looking forward to doing Scotland. I've been there loads of times, but and I did the Isle of Skye, and I've done the Isle of Mull, but I never carried on and explored, you know, all the other islands. Well, I couldn't explore all the islands. Apparently there are 900 separate islands, you know, that come under the Scottish banner. That's quite incredible. I mean, they're always little mini islands and things, but to get to a lot of those you'd need your own boat, and I'm not doing that. Oh, and before anyone suggests it, no, I'm not taking Aslan to explore these islands, and nor am I exploring the Scottish canals, because there's no direct connection with the main network. It would have to be by lorry. I've priced it up, and just to get up there, lift it out, up on a lorry and lift it in was £3,000. It's just not worth my while doing it. That's the 2 coats on this side. I now need to turn the boat around and moor up again and do the other side. However, there's quite a strong wind blowing up. Turn round in that wind, you know, trying to moor up in a strong wind. It's now 2 hairs past a freckle, so I might actually leave it all for today, do the other side tomorrow. Oh yes, and no, I'm not selling Aslan. Yes, I still live aboard. And no, I'm not giving up doing canal-based content. Actually, I'm going to turn the boat around and then see how I feel once I've moored up. Hi, that wind's dropped. So yeah, just quickly turn around and then, as I say, see how I feel. There's no rush, especially since the passing of Neil Peart. God rest his soul. This winding hole could do with dredging. Yeah, I had a feeling something like that might happen. Oh well. Right, I can now moor up and take a look at the right hand side and see what the state of play is. If it's too much to do today, then I'll wait till tomorrow. If it looks like it's not so bad, then I might have a go. We'll see. Alright, I've had a look at this side. The sides of the gunnels, it's just scrapes in the paint. It's not like the other side where it was down to the metal. So there won't be any rust treatment there. And there's a few patches along the tops of the gunnel. So I think while I'm all set up, I will do that. And it's done and dusted then, isn't it? Yeah, not so bad this side, so I'll have this done in a jiffy. Right, just one more coat to do after that, but I'm going to leave you there. Keep an eye out, over the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I'm not quite sure, it's all weather dependent, but the first video where I'll be introducing the bike and going through the kit I'll be taking and discussing the route I hope to take in more detail. I've had a few questions over the past couple of months. Viewers who thought, they said that they thought I'd sold my motorbikes, which I did. I sold the BMW R1150 GS Adventure and my Harley Shovelhead. Why did I sell that? But then 4 months later, back in whenever it was, when I left Garstang Marina, spring was on the way, beautiful weather, I could hear bikes all over the place, so I bought another bike, and that's the bike I'll be taking to Scotland. Until then, probably another cooking video and so on. But yeah, until then, look after yourselves, and cheers for now.